morning, and welcome back to day 3 of the XD Daily Challenge. I'm Marc. I'm a local designer here based in San Francisco, and I'm here to host you guys for the next 25 minutes. So let's just say hi to a couple people. Siobhan, thanks for joining us. Lucian, Felicia, Sandhya, Mateus. Awesome. Hey guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Just in case you're new, for the past couple days, we've been going over the XD Daily Challenge by using XD, and we're covering UX and UI design. We'll kind of do a quick recap, and we'll cover a little bit of what the initial designs were that we covered. I'll pull a couple designs up from the community and talk about them and provide a little bit of feedback. And then we'll get into designing our theme for today, which, in case you haven't received your email, the theme is based off of movie ticket purchases. So we'll be going through a little bit of a flow. At least in the States here, and today Deadpool 2 is released, so we'll be using that as a theme. Ryan Reynolds is my man crush, so definitely happy to work on that project. So yeah, let's go over a couple things just real quick. On the Daily Creative Challenge website, as I mentioned, if you're joining us, the best thing you can do is actually sign up and register. If you don't have access to XD already, XD is now free. There's a starter plan, which means you can kind of jump in the tool today and get access and start using it with us. So yeah, just enter your name and email, click started, get started. And what that's going to do is that's going to send you an email. And then every morning you'll get this email that will give you the prompt. We'll talk about the theme, and it'll go over a couple of the other details. So we also have a Slack channel that's available. And even though our session will end in 25 minutes, we're still able to communicate, share feedback, and have you add your artwork into Slack. And this is a really good way just to build and share your work with others. Also just to provide access to a community where you can give and receive feedback and just share your work. So it's really inspiring. So on this page, these are all these submissions that have been tagged by XD Daily Challenge on Behance. And so we can look at a few of the submissions. Yesterday's theme was an activity tracker. We received a lot of really wonderful entries, so everybody that contributed, thank you so much. It was really cool just to see the diversity and also just all the different examples that everybody was able to submit. Let's look at John's example here. So we've got a really nice muted color palette. We're looking at some high contrast colors. Obviously the 10K and the activity is front and center, which is a really nice way just to prioritize the user focus. Looks like we've got some secondary and tertiary elements down on the bottom of the screen. So we're looking at a graph and then overall tracking for minutes and swings, dances. And I don't know what the last one is. Maybe this is for Fortnite. So that's an awesome theme. Way to go, John. Let's grab another example in here. Let's see. Let's look at cats. All right, so Kat submitted a submission also for an activity tracker. Again, we're kind of seeing the progress tracker in the top of the screen with 28 notes. It looks like a to-do list tracker, which sounds like an awesome idea. Definitely not something I've seen in regards to how you're able to track your progress on your to-do list. So really nice use of color. Looks like she's also incorporating the splash screen, which was another example that we explored. And really interesting composition. Just a nice way to kind of focus on primary elements, but also think about foreground and background and how you can kind of utilize really nice color contrast. So I really like the color usage here, Kat. So really nice job. So sign up, submit your designs today, and there's a good chance that you could get featured on here, and we'll talk about your work as well. So we've covered everything. We've covered about the registration. We've covered the email that you'll receive. Just to also show you a little bit of the activity, this is the Slack channel. And so in here you can submit your work and we can start to provide feedback. So make sure you check out our Slack channel. I think we have a link that we can share. There it is. So join XD Slack. And let's kind of jump into the work and do a little bit of a recap. So throughout the first couple days, our first theme, we focused on a splash screen, which is a really nice entry-level project for mobile. We've got a few examples, which is kind of how we'll start out every daily challenge session. So I'll grab a couple examples. This will help provide context and give us an understanding of what maybe the product experience looks like. And then we'll do a demo and go through the actual design. And then at the end of the demo, I'll share and upload that work to Behance, and then we'll wrap it up. We have Adobe Live coming up next. We're on day 3 with Alyssa, so really excited. Hi, Alyssa. Alyssa's in the studio. And so we're really excited to continue on day 3, and make sure you stick around. Okay, so we did a splash screen. I've got some examples here. This is the product team that I actually work on here in San Francisco for Atlassian. Yesterday, the theme was Activity Tracker. We kind of went a little bit out of bounds and started thinking about what an activity tracker could look like for space. I think I left this probably about 80% done yesterday, and so I went in this morning and finished a little bit of the work and just kind of touched up some things. And today's theme is going to be zooming in too far. So today's theme is actually going to be focusing on going through a movie ticket purchase flow. So this is an example I pulled together from Fandango. I just pulled this off of my phone, did a couple screenshots, and it's a good way for you to kind of frame the context, to look at examples, look at existing products, and help provide constraints and often direction on your work. So we can unpack this a little bit. As I mentioned, Deadpool 2 is coming out today, so really excited about seeing this movie. I've got my tickets for tomorrow at 10 o'clock p.m. So we're seeing kind of the movie poster format. We've got I guess the overall aspect ratio is kind of in the format of a movie poster. We've got a clickable trailer button that's going to be in there. We've got times that are playing immediately, which it says tomorrow, May 17th. Once you've kind of selected that prompt, then you're going into the ticket selection and deciding whether or not you're an adult, senior, or child. And then it goes through the purchase flow. So this is what we'll be covering. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demo. I started out just out of respect to hoping we get through everything today. I started out a little bit early just thinking about how I would maybe position this as a wireframe. And so what I'll do is I'll go through the flow of demonstrating this as a wireframe with kind of blocks of UI. And then I'll go in and I'll start to finish the details and start adding text and content, and that'll really help me kind of think about the content areas within the design, as well as where to place artwork and how to think about prioritizing activity. So we're going to try to cover Discover, List, Detail, and Select, similar to the flow that I talked about in Fandango. So for Discover, I'm thinking a little bit about having maybe different genre selections up at the top of the screen, and then having a carousel of movie posters that you can kind of swipe through for the most recent and active movies. So this will kind of be a theme. This swiping left to right will be something that I'll continually use throughout the app, so that we're not changing scrolling variability too much on the user. Okay, so let's just go in and label a couple of these genres real quick. This was a repeat grid. So let's put some titles in here. So let's say action can be one. Horror. Also, if you have any suggestions, want to help me fill in the blank, please drop a suggestion in the room. Romance. Let's see. Maybe comedy. Just trying to come up with these right now. What else? Maybe documentary. And let's just take a trap door here, and let's just make this more and not have to think too much about what to actually do next. Okay, all right, so let's think about, maybe I'll try, this could be a big color block. Let's bring this poster over here. We can just kind of assume once you've tapped into this poster, we'll give you a feature image of maybe the Deadpool poster. Let's put Deadpool 2's title up there. what else do we think we'll need? Let's add an area for maybe description. Maybe we can add an area for actors. Let's see if I can go grab a quick description for Deadpool. Maybe a synopsis or something. Perfect. Do that. Keep that white. So I'm using a dark UI here because I think from a overall is just cinematic. You know, you're going to see a lot of posters, you're going to see a lot of rich visual and media. And so for me, I think the darker the screen or the higher the contrast allows you to kind of pull the artwork front and center. So that's just kind of a creative call that I'm making right now. It seems to make sense. If it doesn't, we can kind of assess that as we move on. Let's add a button. So this will kind of be maybe our way to display times. So let's say this is 7 p.m. Use the repeat grid. So again, thinking about how to swipe off the screen is something we're considering. Let's say next one will be at 8 p.m. This one will be at 9 p.m. Got our description. We can put in some 72. Let's put in some actor profile photos here. Again, repeat grid. We can have that fly off the screen. So we're starting to get an idea maybe about how this view for the primary movie view is going to look like. So we can see some similar themes here. Got our search icon. Okay, so this view is actually going to be duplicated throughout the process just because I think it's going to be a main flow. So I think if I were to select on this screen, we can say that would probably create some type of, this is 375. So let's just assume that'll pull up a purchase prompt. Let's put some corner radii on there. So maybe that'll come up there. And then we can show, maybe this will get you into seat selection. It's 3. And then maybe once we get into the purchase, that'll kind of be a full screen overtake. Okay, so we've got some content. Let's start maybe dropping some visuals in here. So I created these 3 separately, but I'm going to put them into a repeat grid. So when I grab these posters, nope, let's just do them manually. So let's drop that one in there. Let's put Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man. Cool. Let's do the same. Let's actually make this a symbol. Let's put our Deadpool poster in there. Let's grab quick poster image in the background. Yep. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. So far I think I've spent 5 minutes on this, maybe. Is that true? 7 minutes? I did pre-select a color palette in true Deadpool theme. So I try to select some kind of blue grays, some reds, just to see if we can kind of stay on theme with the movie. Let's put a gradient backdrop in there. We can make our primary call to action maybe this red color. See how this does. Perfect. Oh yeah, we've got our actors. Let's grab Rai and team, drop them in there. Got our actors. Let's see. Thinking there can be an interaction up here that once you tap into the movie poster, maybe you can also pull down on the screen to kind of go back to the discovery view. So it's kind of a way to maybe go in and out of the details. And this is going to be kind of our purchase flow. Getting some competing colors there. Let's actually see if we can make these a little bit more subtle. So we've got detail view, detail, description, actors, list, screen selection. And then this will be the purchase flow. Let's grab these posters again. And grab the Deadpool poster. I think yesterday I used a nice gradient fade on the activity tracker. So let's see if we can do something similar here. So select a gradient, linear gradient, do the darkest to the lightest. Let's see if we can leapfrog that process. And then I'm going to adjust the color saturation here so that we can get a fade. Add a couple other transitional color blocks there. Make sure this fades out to white. You can put that in the background. That can be our way to kind of not have such a hard break for the background image. I'm using a command bracket also to pull this into the background and get a nice transitional fade there. Maybe we can add this can be our way to play maybe the movie trailer or the movie poster. And I think once we've gotten into this screen, we're probably going to want to push the content into the background. So we're going to use the background blur feature here. We want definitely some color to show through. And so this will be a way for, once you're actually going through the purchase flow, to be able to focus on the content rather than what's in the background. So we'll kind of push that content back. Do the same thing here. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but that's okay. I'll start genres here. Okay, so we've got Discover, Got some swipeable interactions here that are implied by the content rolling off the screen. We're using a similar affordance here. You've got the ability to play and check out the thumbnails. Probably could add some Rotten Tomato ratings or something over here. Let's see if I've got maybe we can put something over here. We'll say that it's 84%. It looks more like an apple. And so I think this is where we want to start getting a little bit into the seats. I'll try to fly through this just enough, just to give a hint enough of what maybe the implied interactions are going to be. So this will be select. So once you've tapped into the time over here, the purchase flow will come up. We'll ask for select. Let's see, maybe you can do, keeping with the theme of the swipeability, maybe you get this big number that pops up to select your seats. So this will be 2. This will be 3. We'll knock those back by reducing the opacity just because they're not currently front and center and active. So this will be selecting the number of people that are going. Next prompt will be seats. And then I can see this stuff transitioning over to the screen. Maybe moving up. Maybe I'm gonna go see the movie by myself. I don't know. We can select these seats here. And then I think probably the next interaction would probably be pay. And so once we get into pay, you probably have to select your seat orientation. So that's going to be deactivated. Could definitely use a closeout icon here just to dismiss this. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Hopefully that is close enough to at least inspire enough of you. Also just to kind of get an idea of maybe what a movie ticket purchase flow could look like. As I mentioned, this was kind of our original inspiration where we started. It's kind of embedded with advertisements and a lot of tertiary content that's kind of not necessarily pertaining to the movie. So my focus here was really to try to focus on the movie content, focus on the movie posters, and just bring that really nice and forward and create a really clean UI for that. I'm going to go ahead and export these. We will export selected. This will go into the movie purchase export. We'll come over here to Behance. I'll grab my project. Just to let you know, so we're going to be adding this to the project that we've already submitted to. So just to kind of keep the work growing over time, it's a good way just to see how we grow throughout the rest of the day. I'll go into Edit Project, Upload Files. So I'll select my images, which I poorly named, but I can update this stuff later. Everything shows up in Behance. I think just in case this is the first time you're doing this, make sure you use the creative field for UI and UX once you upload prior to uploading your work. And then for discoverability, make sure to use the hashtag for XD Daily Challenge. This is going to enable us to find your work and help surface it into the Behance page where we're kind of looking at all the projects that get done over this time. And it's a really good way also to, I don't know, just take part in the daily challenge. It's a great way to grow. It's a really good way just to try something thematically new every day, get exposure to iPad screens, mobile screens, web screens, you name it. We'll be touching all that over the next 8 days. So tag it as XD Challenge. You can save your work. That's going to be available for everybody to see right now. I hope this was helpful. I hope it inspired some of you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. We've got Alyssa coming up for Adobe Live XD, and we'll be wrapping up day 3. So thanks so much for joining us. Peace.